And why not? Maybe we could even go live. I mean, who knows? Yeah,
Yeah, we can. You know how to do it, Cheryl. So we can just. By the way, Becca, we should probably resume that live. We now know that it's fixed. Cheryl knows it's fixed and has proven that. So next time we'll do that. Okay. Anyways, everyone, welcome to Leadership Thursday. We're so excited to be with you here today. And we're going over a great program with John Maxwell called The Power of Five. And we have done 3 out of the 5. And I know it was a little confusing last week that Becca pointed out to me that there are 5 things we should worry about, and I only listed 2. This one because we had 2 done, but hopefully I made the notes a little clearer today that there are 5 things that matter when we're growing our health coaching business. And today we're going over number 3. So 2 of them have not been done yet, but we've gone over growth matters. And, I'm Mr. Elevate. I think growth is everything. I'm obsessed with growth. The Elevate community is we're all a community of people that are obsessed with growth. So if somebody comes to you and they see you wearing the blue shirt and they say, well, you start talking about the Institute of Holistic Health, you became a certified health coach, and they ask you, well, what do you like best about the program? Or what do you about the whole thing that's going on there? My wish for you to say, and this, you can say whatever you want to say, obviously, but my wish is that the first thing that comes to your mind is that you say, well, I've just grown so much being in that program. There's so much growth that's happened in my life because of that program. The growth is everything, that you've seen personal growth. You've seen growth in your business, growth in relationships, growth in everything in your life because of this institute. So that is my number one thing. Of course, connecting matters because we got to connect with people. So those past 2 weeks have been incredible. For anybody that's missed those, way worth it to go back and listen to those calls because they were phenomenal. But as we've mentioned before, it seems like John Maxwell and Deb Erickson hang out a lot together because Deb Erickson convinced John Maxwell to make lesson number 3, mindset matters, which is what is Deb's big thing. And John does acknowledge that if you were to ask him, what's the one thing that you could do to become a better leader, it's change your mindset. So we're going to dive into this today. We do want to make one big announcement though, that's really big. And that's that this 2-minute video that we produced is now finished. So we're super excited about that. And so in the notes today, you can see the video. You can click on that. It's on Facebook as well, and it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on everything out there. We definitely want this video to go viral. And so again, if you use your cursor and the hand goes over the 6 different dots, you click on that, a whole list of things pop open, one of which says download. So what you want to do is you actually want to download this to your computer. So you hit download. It's going to ask, where do you want to download it to? If you have a Mac, it goes to the downloads folder, or you can pick any folder you want to put this in so you don't lose it. This is super important because you actually want to upload the original to your Facebook post. And we're going to teach you how to make the Facebook post. There's a science to writing an ad and saying everything properly. However, if you're just excited and you want to be like, I'm so excited about this 2-minute video, watch it, like that works too. So if you want to just make a post like that on Facebook that I'm involved in this coaching thing, it's absolutely changed my life. But we need more help. So this is not you looking for more clients. This is you looking for more coaches now. So that's what this video does. We'll make another video where we're looking for more clients. And we've done a post in the past that had to do with finding more clients, but now we're doing the second half, which is looking for more coaches. So this video does that. So we'd love to get your feedback on that. So please watch the video when you get a chance in the HCCC Facebook group and make a comment on it. Love to hear your feedback on that. And we still can make adjustments and things, but I think it turned out perfect. What do you think about it, Cheryl?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely incredible. But let me just say one thing. I had no idea how long it takes to make a video. Okay. Or like a little commercial. So, you guys see the commercials on TV, I see them, whatever. And I am absolutely shocked. So we've been talking about this forever, right? It's not like we haven't been working on it.
Oh,
Because
no.
when we started talking about it is when we started working on it. So I don't know, it seems to me like it was 6 months ago, but it probably wasn't. It was probably like 2 or 3. But seriously, that's how long it actually took to get this finished product. So I just think that it's fantastic. But when I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. But anything that's awesome, of course, takes time. So that's what I always think about.
Yeah.
But it's just, we're super excited about it. I think it is really, really good. And now, Paul, let's be clear that this is for us to show to people so that they will be moved to join us as a health coach,
Yes.
correct? Okay, as a health coach.
As a health coach. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah. So to make a 1-minute video, you have to watch 100 hours of video to find the right clips for it. So 2-minute videos is 200 hours of video to watch through. So we watched through a lot of video to find the right clips, and we got, Cheryl and I have hundreds of hours ourselves of video. So it was a lot of work to go through it all, but I just loved the final version. And it, you know, I will never see a movie unless I see the 2-minute video first. We're in a day and age where people want to know, what is this in 2 minutes or less? You know, and this does that. So I really believe everything we put together here, that this is the most powerful tool, will prove to be the most powerful tool ever created. You'll be able to explode your business now, because you'll be able to 2 minutes, hit them, take their temperature on a scale from 1 to 10. You know, how interested are you in this? And take their temperature. And you're just going through people, burning through them, turn and burn right now.
Yeah.
Looking for people who, because the right person sees that video, I'm in.
Right.
I'm in. And this is what I've been looking for my whole life.
So that's really the point, Paul, is that the winner, not that we have winners,
Yep.
but
Yep.
we have winners.
No, you're right.
Is the person who can show this to the most people, not necessarily, because that will mean the more people you show it to, it absolutely means the more people will join us as a coach. And guess what? How would you guys like people to join you as a coach instead of join you as a preferred customer who doesn't really, who we have to wait 2 to 3 months for to get their own story, which is fantastic. But how would you like someone just to join you as a coach because they see the bigger picture of themselves becoming a coach on your team with you as their leader? I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm so excited about it, Paul, really.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And,
Yeah.
you know, so coaches are obviously clients too. So every coach on our team, we still treat as a client. We were worried about getting their health score up, making sure they're taking their supplements. So it's like getting 2 for 1 is what you're doing. You're not getting a coach instead of a client. You're getting a coach and a client at the same time. So that is double whammy, and just, you know, so, you know, we're going to talk a lot about leadership laws and concepts of, if you know, the law of explosive growth is to, you know, you can add followers, but to multiply, you know, if you want to multiply, you have to lead leaders. So getting health coaches in is going to help you lead leaders, find people that really want to do this. So we're going to teach you how to do this. We have landing pages being created. We have all kinds of amazing things being created for you so that you will be able to explode your business easily. So we're really excited about that, but we got to talk about mindset today. We're talking about Mindset Matters, and a book I read when one of the first books I guess I read, and you know, I thank God every day for my parents. They just set a great example in my life. My dad had me read. I mean, I'm reading books like The Power of Positive Thinking. I remember my dad giving me this book called The Zone, or I'm sorry, Flow, which is this zone of you know, everything just flowing and having this amazing. So I mean, I think that the 2 best books I've ever read were the first 2 books I ever read, which was The Power of Positive Thinking and the book Flow. So I can't encourage you enough, if you haven't read that book yet, to read it, because it's gold. But I think, Cheryl, the most important thing I got out of this whole thing, you know, John just has this way of giving us gold nuggets, this big piece of gold. Like, this is like a gold boulder he just handed all of us. And when he said the greatest gap between successful and unsuccessful people is how they think.
I like to
That's-
refer to
that's
them as
it.
bold bars, Paul, but that's okay. You can say bolder. I like to say bars.
Oh,
Just
you
so
like
you know.
bars? Okay,
Bold bars.
gold bars. I see.
Yeah.
Well, that's just how you roll, Cheryl. You're just a gold
Yeah,
bar.
And I think you're right. That is, I love that saying. I love it. I love the way, because guess what? It's super simple. And I completely understand what he just said. He said that if I want to be successful, then I need to make sure how I'm thinking, right? I need to make sure that my mindset is right.
But Cheryl, before he said that, and this goes for everybody, so maybe type this in the chat as well, everyone. Before he said that, when he said the greatest gap between success and unsuccessful people is blank, there's no way, I don't think any of us would have said the word think.
Right.
You know, oh, they're more ambitious, or they're smarter, they're better, you know, whatever. We would have came up with a whole bunch of words to put in there. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have put think in there. I actually had to think about it after I heard it. I paused the whole thing and like, is that really true? Is it the biggest difference between successful and unsuccessful people is how they think? That's it?
Yeah.
You know, and I thought about it for a while. I'm like, man, this guy is brilliant, because that's it. You know, and it all flows back to this. I put a diagram in there, my favorite diagram that I teach all the time. It's thoughts. What you're thinking leads to emotions, and those emotions lead you to actions, and the actions get us the results we have. So boy, if you're thinking bad thoughts, you're going to have bad emotions, you're going to take very little action, you're going to get really bad results, which is what 90% of the population is doing in their life. So you can change those thoughts, change the way you think, you're changing your emotions. Your emotions get better, you're taking more action, you're taking more action, you're getting better results. Just as simple as that. And when you get better results, your thoughts get better. And it becomes a vicious cycle of success. But we've all witnessed the opposite happening, and it's just as bad. So we really, really got to think, you know, pay attention to how we're thinking here. And he goes on to say successful people just have a different mindset. You know, it's not intelligent, it's not IQ, you know, it's none of that. It's the thoughts we're thinking. And, you know, this is something, Cheryl, I know I didn't listen to this with Cheryl. We listened to it separately and then talk afterwards. But I know this is something that I'm sure you were laughing about when he said it, when John said the greatest regret that he has is that no one saw him when he was first starting out.
I love that. Yeah, he
You know,
said that was the biggest regret, is that you guys see him how he is now. And so you think he's way better than he is. But he said that when he very first started out, people saw him as not as good as he was.
right. less than bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that bad. And people are like, oh, you are that bad and then some.
I love when he talked about his book. That was my favorite thing. 31 chapters.
Yeah.
100 pages. And he said, and so when that woman walked up to him and said, oh my gosh, John, this is my favorite book of yours. I just love it. Can you sign it? And he goes, oh my word. Well, thank you so much. I'm so shocked that's your favorite one. I mean, that's my first book. And he said, why is that your favorite? And she said, oh, it's the short chapters.
I love the short chapters.
Which I will tell you, the funniest thing is that is the whole reason why I read this one author, James Patterson. He has all short chapters. And let me tell you, I can get through a chapter. Like when I very first like, okay, I'm really going to start reading books. That is what I would read, because the chapters were so short. And every time I finished a chapter, I felt like I was, you know, like I had accomplished something. And so it would make me go to the next one. So I totally understand what that woman said. And I'm sure that this is going to be my favorite book of John's too. Yes, I love that.
My. But it was super funny because he's like, it's 100 pages, 30 chapters. So that means each chapter had 3 pages in it. And he goes, most chapters, there was 2 pages too many. So, you know, you just, in the beginning, you just don't, you that's where the whole growth thing comes in. In the beginning, you don't know much. So he didn't know a whole lot. So he didn't have anything to really say.
Yeah.
But it's.
Oh,
Go
wait,
ahead, Cheryl.
sorry. I'm going to tell you another thing about the book that I thought was so funny. He said, my favorite thing, because when you decide that you're going to write a book or write anything and sit right down and get that started, let me tell you, for me, nothing much comes to mind. So I love that John said that he went into at the start, he would go into the hotel room and lock himself away and he would write all day. And he remembers specifically this one day that he wrote all day. And at the end of the day, he had three paragraphs. He was like, what on earth? Right. But back then that was so good for him. And so I thought, oh, I feel so much better now. Okay, then that's okay. But I love that that's where he started and that's how he did start.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, so I'm super proud of myself. I'm super proud of Cheryl. So Cheryl and I have been together now for 4.5 years, going on 5 years here. So, when we first started out, we were just, figuring things out here and how to really take longevity to the next level and really create momentum here. And so, and Cheryl and I have been, at times Cheryl did not embrace this as much as I did, but after forcing her to, the whole plan, do, review situation, the mindset of that. So we're just going to always plan. We're going to have a plan. We're going to do it. And then we're going to review it. And I'll be honest, in my life in the past, I was real big on plan, but I need to get this plan perfect so that I can do it. Because there's so many mistakes I've made in the past that there was a fear inside of me that I'm going to make a mistake again. So, but thanks to Deb Erickson and other people that have helped me in my life realize this fear that I had inside of me, it's plan, do it, because we know that it's going to go bad already.
My favorite. That's my favorite part is do. I don't want to plan and I don't want to review.
Yeah.
I just want to, let's get it done.
Yeah. That's the people that get absolutely nowhere in life because they're going around in circles.
Hey, that's not true. Listen,
Yeah, so,
at least I'm not still planning.
Well, here's the thing. So again, everyone comes to us. A lot of people come to us and say, I feel like I'm doing a lot in life, Paul. I'm working really, really hard, but I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And I asked them, well, where did you want to go? And they said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So you can't get to someplace you don't even know where you're going. So I'm just saying, take a moment to say, hey, what's the plan here? Where do we want to go? Oh, 5-star? Okay. At least we got a place now. Now, why would you want to go 5-star? To have that purpose. And, it's so important to take a second to think about why in the world do I want this? That's why I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we went over the 8 hot buttons. Man, that might've been the best class we ever did, because it really gets back to the, why are you doing this? And why are your people doing this? The people you meet, trying to find their hot buttons. So that's super important. And then of course, coming up with, this is what we're going to do, and having a plan in place, then you do it. But that things are going to go, you're going to learn so much, and I'm doing some home improvements right now. I can't believe you can't hear the guy behind me destroying my house. But, there's you kind of go into things with a plan. You got to somewhat of a plan, but as you go, things are going to come up and you got to adjust and things like that. And then always the most valuable thing to me has become the review of the whole thing, because then that's where the real learning happens. We thought this is going to happen. This is what really happened. These are the good things that happened. These are not so good things that happen. How are we going to do better next time? And that is what's caused Cheryl and I to have massive progress, which is the ultimate word to have in your vocabulary, which is progress. I'm always making progress. I'm obsessed with progress, which is just another word for growth. So it's this whole mindset of growth, that I'm always moving forward. And I fully understand that it begins with thought. So Cheryl, let's talk about, John talked about really 2 main concepts here. The right mindset creates a foundation for good results. So maybe you can expand on that a bit.
Yeah, well, that is absolutely right. So yeah, having the right mindset, you will will lay the foundation, right? Because if we don't have the right mindset, then obviously, really there's no place to start. Or we start and do okay and do okay, because we're kind of white knuckling it, I feel like, but then switches over to switches over to stops, and then stops and starts, which I think are the absolute worst, because what happens is you try your hardest, you do something, you fail, and then you're like, oh, and then you have to start over again. So yeah, this the foundation that is created is, I think, what is most important. And John talked about like coaches, for instance. Like, if you asked a coach before they went onto the field, do you think that the player's mindset matters? And oh my gosh, of course. And another one too that I always think a lot about is one of my husband's really good friends is the leading oncologist in the country, and he talks about all the time. He talks about, he knows if a person will survive cancer. Almost every single time he knows the answer to it before they even start any of the nutrition stuff, any of the chemo or anything, depending 100% on their mindset. And I always remember that. And I just think that that is so fascinating. So the foundation of mindset is unbelievable. Also, gosh, he also talks about, ask a teacher if before the kids in the class take a test, if mindset matters. I can tell you for sure that I never had the right mindset in school, because it was also difficult for me all the time. And I knew before I even walked in the class that I was going to fail. And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, I failed, right? Because that was, but now I know, but I didn't know that back then. I just knew that, I just knew I was like on the hamster wheel. I was talking to a friend about that this morning. You get on this hamster wheel, and I was on it, and I knew for sure there was a problem, and I couldn't learn that. And I tried hard and nothing worked, and and then over and over and over. Well, I can promise you my mindset was terrible. Of course it was, because I didn't even realize it, right? When I walked in to take that test, I expected to fail. And so I did, right? And so we need to expect to be successful. We need to expect the things that are on our vision board. We need to expect them. Of course, I'm going to get that, right? And John talks a lot about that. I'm excited to talk about some of the different phrases that we're going to use for mindset. So be thinking about that too. But I love it, Paul. I think your mindset is the foundation for everything that you do, and it will show, right? It will show. People, we know what your mindset is, because that is all dependent on how successful you are or how successful you're becoming. I really believe that.
Absolutely. I mean, I want to just clarify, because I get a bad feeling inside of me that there's not good clarification between the difference between mindset and identity. So when we say I can do it, that's a great mindset. But what's even better than I can do it is I really believe that I'm the type of person that can do anything. That's just who I am. So when you can change your identity, who you are, that's where I believe the real magic happens. It's not just saying things or having a great mindset. Again, my mindset, I shouldn't get big awards for not using heroin. I'm not using massive willpower. I don't have unbelievable self-discipline. It's just not who I am. It's not what I do. So when you can change, when you understand that example, you can set that for any example in the world. I exercise every day. It's just who I am. Just it's the type of person I am. And you'll always catch people saying, "Oh, that's not for me. That's not who I am." And I'm like, well, who decided that? you know, and I don't know, they sometimes they think God, or they think they got some kind of genetic problem or something, whatever, but it's all a story. And then, you know, from doing these Team Tuesday calls, and Cheryl and I do a bunch of them, and I do a bunch of coaching calls on the side too. It is amazing how clear it's become and the stories that we make up in our minds. You know, it's you got to catch yourself, and a story is nothing more than thoughts, but there's this story going on in your mind all the time about something. And you got to ask yourself, is that true? Is there anything to back that up? And 10 times out of 10, there is nothing to back that up. And you just are feeling this way and thinking these thoughts because it's a pattern that you're in. So we really got to be, I love the worm thing. I always love witnessing the thoughts, you know, and then having that ability to interrupt them and say, no, stop, you know, gotta get my stop sign back because I love my stop sign. And then to redirect, what do you want to focus on? And that to me is so powerful. I do that literally multiple times a day, every day to myself. So as far as you know, you want to have a mindset. So I love what John says about being thankful. So my big thing with Brendon Burchard forced me to come up with 3 words that describe who I am. So it's really important that you take the time to come up with 3 words for yourself that describe who you are. Now, let me clarify that. So it may not be who you are at the moment. It's who you want to be. How do you want the rest of the world to look at you? So we made up those e-cards, those identity cards. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is you at the second, but it's how you want to be portray yourself to the world. And once you make that, it almost instantaneously starts to happen because you've just shifted your mindset. So the number one thing is I'm always grateful. That's where everything starts for me. Everything that happens in my life, I'm so grateful for all of it. And then I go in pretty quickly into, I'm grateful for everything, but it's not enough. I want more. And I'm obsessed with more. And we talked about last Monday about my kind of crazy example. I know. So Cheryl and I were looking for pictures to post on Facebook that are conversation provoking. And Cheryl's like, I'm not going to post a picture of a lion eating a gazelle. That is just not the type of picture that I'm going to post on my Facebook. And I'm like, that's the perfect picture to post, you know. And but the analogy is not go out and kill a gazelle. Okay, the gazelle is your goal. So you're going out there and hunting your goal. You're chasing it down. Your goal becomes afraid of you. And so that's my gazelles are my goals that I'm hunting all the time, that I'm going after, and then I'm going to get. You know, that they're mine. It's already in my mind that they are mine. So it's having that growing mentality for myself, and then giving. So as soon as I'm growing myself. I want to give all this, and that's what we're doing right now, is giving to all of you. So I love that mindset. You can obviously steal the 3G mindset that I have and use it for your own, because I think it works for anybody. But maybe there's 3 words that resonate better with you, that you want the world to look at you in a certain way. So this is mindset. You know, this is when we talk about mindset, this is what we're talking about. So my mindset is I'm grateful, I'm growing, and I'm giving. And I don't think you can have a lot of things you're focusing on. You want to have, and I love that Brendon Burchard made me pick 3. You know, you can, because we can go on forever, but you want to get really when the, you know, rubber meets the road, when, you know, we're going through the day, bullets are flying. Who are you? What is your mindset? Well, first of all, I'm grateful. So at any moment of the day when bad things are happening, if anything bad's happening, I go right back to what's my mindset? I'm grateful. Next thing, got to grow. That's what I do. That's what today's about. I got to grow. If I go to bed and I don't feel like something's grown in my life today, it's not a good day for me. It's a failure. Something's got to I have to make some sort of progress in some sort of area. And then I got to give. I got to look for a way to give. And that's what makes me feel fulfilled. So I really encourage you to pick your 3 words. And Cheryl, I thought it was really awesome the way John talked about how he goes through his day being thankful, and then going into prayer. Maybe you could walk us through his mindset when he wakes up in the morning. And tell us a little bit about yours.
Yeah, I love that. I love that he says prayer and he said, and I know some of you don't need that because you're awesome,
Yeah.
but I do need a little help. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm glad that John only needs a little because that leaves a little more for me because I need a lot. Right. And so I love that. And I do the same thing. I think a lot of us are doing that magic morning, miracle morning, the morning where we're, where we're doing that. John says then he does self focus,
Mm.
right? And I like the self focus. He said you can
Yeah.
call it
This is
meditation.
Cheryl's best 10 minutes of her day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know why? Because I'm trying to figure out the story I'm telling to myself, right? That I need to change. Oh my gosh. So he talks a little bit about that. And so he does the self focus. And the thing that I thought was really interesting, and I'm sure I knew this, but I'm sure I didn't know how important that it really is to do this. So he says that the self talk is super important. And I thought, oh, great, I have that covered. Like I talk to myself in my head all the time. And he's like, oh, by the way, not in your head. You need to say it out loud to yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay, don't have that covered. Because I don't say it out loud to myself because people might think I am quite a whack job. But there are some people that we're going to hear about here in a minute that do not care if everybody on earth hears them screeching their self-talk. But anyway, I think that's interesting. He did say that you're the person that you talk to most during the day, right? So you're the one that you talk to most. And so he said that it's very critical that you say the right things to yourself. Um, and I like went like a tiny step farther and I just said, you need to say the right things to yourself, whether you want to or not. And maybe you might not even be feeling the right things that you need to say to yourself, but it's still super important to say them to yourself and until you feel those things. So it was interesting before the call, Paul and I were talking about this a little earlier and he said, okay, Cheryl, I have a question for you. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, can you get up right now, go into the bathroom mirror, look in the mirror and tell yourself,
Hey, yeah.
yeah, say to yourself, I love you. And I was, well, and I'm not sure why I'm getting emotional. Well, brother. But so of course I'm like, oh, well, let me think about it. And then I said, yeah, I think that I could do that today. And that's not something, um, that I'm pretty sure that I've ever been able to do. Right. But it's having that awareness that that's something that is so important for each of us and that it's so important for each of us to feel that and to know that because there's no way that if we don't love ourselves that we will ever be able to love anyone else. And what do we do when we help people? We love them, right? That's just what we do. And so I just found it so interesting and I'm so grateful that I was able to say today, yes, I can do that. So yay. But think about that. Is it something that you could do today? Because I think it's really important for each of us to be able to do that. And like that's where we're going. That's our goal. That's why we're growing. That's why we're in this community. That's why we're doing this because and I think it's huge, Paul, that each of us need to really be able to say that to ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's so great, Cheryl. We all love you. So we really appreciate, you're being so genuine and I know we're all in this growth pattern together. I'm growing every day. We're all growing every day. Cheryl's growing every day. But this is something that we're all working on is our how we look at ourselves and there was a thing recently that and Cheryl's involved in a great thing that we're going to be telling you about shortly. Another book that she's involved in, and now she's got 2 books. Like I have none, and she's got 2 already. So it's kind of crazy.
That's right. It is crazy.
But she felt that she just had a kind of a thing where the story in her mind was that everyone's smarter than her in this group. She's in a group of women that are writing this book, writing books, and I just asked, well, where'd you get that from? and there's things in her past that she would point to, but they're all past stories that she's focusing on. And I pointed out to her a couple dozen things reasons why I think she's brilliant. So everybody type in the chat here, Cheryl, you are brilliant.
Thank you, Paul. That's so nice. But I'll tell you, that has been such a learning experience over the last week. Unbelievable. Like an unbelievable growing experience that I went from a story that I had of like, it almost made me quit, honestly. Like I was like, I don't need to do this. I don't want to do this. This whole new thing that I've kind of taken on. Because when I first met everybody that's involved, I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, these ladies are incredible. And I just was like, no, there's no way I cannot do it. I don't want to do it. It was so hard. I mean, it was really a crazy experience, which I could go into later, but I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. And then to have, to Paul saying, well, Cheryl, so you have that story, but why do you feel like that? Like, why do you feel like you're not just as good as them or better than them? I mean, why do you feel? And so then I had to go back, just like Deb teaches us, go back and find in my history, like what was making me feel like I'm not smart enough. Right. But I never realized that. I never realized that would be that's something that happened years ago, like for 12 years, like the whole time I was in school, but people actually telling me you're never going to be successful. You just, whatever. Right. So, but once I said, oh my gosh, that was so long ago. And then I saw all these other things that are great that are happening now. Then I was like you guys literally in 10 seconds, it all changed. And I was completely fine. So I want you to know that it's not a long process. It's not a drawn out process. I think that's so important. It doesn't take longer than a second, but you just have to realize why and what your story is. And then you just have to say, oh, well, let's just change the story to this. And really it's the story you're changing it to is the truth. Yep. Right? Oh, I love it. Paul, I think it's so important for people to know it only takes a second. Or 30 seconds, maybe.
Yeah. And it's, and there's, everyone has a talent, there's no question so my talent is the steak, the meat, the gist of everything. So I can get that all out and it's all there. Now I don't have that talent in the ability that Cheryl does. Like I remember doing the Star School workbook together, writing that book, and I had a lot of stake in there. And Cheryl comes back and just redoes every single sentence so that it's grammatically correct. I mean, everything she did I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how brilliant she is. Like she took everything I did and just made it twice as good. It was fantastic. And then she's done that again with the Keto 90 book and everything we write. And if it wasn't for Cheryl, Becca, and Caroline correcting every single post I make on Facebook, I would look like a complete idiot because I always miss words or letters or hit letters that I don't mean to hit or whatever. So it doesn't, but I don't look at myself as being stupid. I would never classify myself with that. I've some great strengths. Now do we all have weaknesses? Absolutely. We can be aware of those and thank the Lord for people like Cheryl, Becca, and Caroline to always be looking out for me. But we all have, each other's backs on different things and certain things we're strong at. But Cheryl, you're brilliant and you're super smart, and everyone here should watch the stories that they tell themselves because odds are they're not true at all. It's just something you're carrying in from your past.
That's right. Become aware. That's like my whole big thing these days is aware and certainty, but become aware that you're even doing it. I had no idea. I couldn't even figure out, like in my own head and by myself as I'm, huddled in the corner, what was even going on. Like I couldn't figure out why I wasn't excited.
Yeah. Right? Well, it goes back to the worm. And for me, the witnessing is the key. Because almost when I witness it, when I become aware of it, I can fix it in a quarter second.
That's right.
So the other things just come naturally, but it's witnessing it. That's really the key. So that's so awesome, Cheryl, that you can go into, and say, I love you to yourself. And actually saying things out loud. So we may be thinking things. And I know way back when I first got started in this industry, I would write out my goals. And so my enroller, back when I was with New Vision, asked me to see all my goals. So I showed it to him, and I really wasn't achieving them, and he's like, now are you rewriting these every day? I'm like, rewriting them? I'm like, no, I just read them. He's like, oh, that's not good enough. You got to rewrite them. So I got out a piece of paper, and every day I wrote them, every morning, rewrote them. So they're all written. So I just looked at the sheet of paper, rewrote them. And then every night before I go to bed, I rewrote them again. So 700 times a year, I would write out my goals. And it made night and day difference in my life, because it just, now Tony Robbins took me a step further. He's like, thinking it and writing it is fantastic, but when you actually say it out loud, and Tony, those of you that know Tony, he doesn't just stop at saying it out loud. He understands. And what I again posted in the notes today is that my favorite circle thing, where it's thoughts, emotions, actions, results, and it goes around and around and around. So Tony's like, well, what if we took the thoughts and tied a little bit of emotion in with it? What would that do? And so I put a great video down here. That's literally what we do at Unleash the Power Within. He does it at all of his events, and it's how he created himself. So he literally, for an hour a day, screams out loud at the top of his voice this exact saying that I wrote out here. Now I am the voice. So whatever voices you're hearing from your family, your friends, media, wherever all these voices are coming from, the second you say, now I am the voice, I'm running the show. And you gotta, we talk about treating your mind as a dog, that no, stay, sit. No, this is what we're going to do. And this is why Cheryl and I are obsessed with the cold plunge, because every day in my mind and in Cheryl's mind, and I know just the other day, Cheryl called me. She's like, man, I'm looking at this cold plunge and I'm just not feeling it today here. Like I should go into that 40-degree water, but she told her mind, no, we're doing this. And she does it. And that is, having that awesome mindset of I am now the voice. I'm saying what's going on. And that's a powerful moment in all of our lives, if you can just say that one line out loud. And I'm not just saying say it out loud. I mean, really say it out loud, where you're saying, now I am the voice, and you're really putting some emotion behind it, which is going to rewire your central nervous system while you're saying it. And it's going to become part of who you really are. And this again goes back to the identity sculpting of it, just that this is who I am. I'm the voice. There's no other voice in my life but mine. And I will lead, not follow. I will believe, not doubt. I will create, not destroy. I am a force for good. I am a leader. Defy the odds. Set a new standard. And then he would scream to himself, step up, step up, step up. And then repeat, go back to the top and do it again. He does that an hour a day.
No.
So when you say that out loud with that much emotion for an hour a day, you become a different type of person. Your entire identity changes. And this is how he created Tony Robbins, was just this he calls it an incantation. And they work unbelievable. Like my big incantation, I don't read all of that, but I say every day in every way, my life is getting better and better. Every day in every way, my life is getting better and better. And just constantly while I'm running, so I'll run 5 miles and I'll say that the whole time for 5 miles. And have that one incantation, that one affirmation going. And it just, lo and behold, every day in every way, my life gets better and better. Just sort of happens. Because that's what I'm focused on. So it's a great video to watch. I highly, highly suggest doing this and really taking this self-talk, which again goes above and beyond just self-thinking. It's actually literally saying it out loud. So if you really want to change and become an unbelievable health coach and have a great business and change your whole life, that's what it's going to take. So let's talk about the ending part here, Cheryl. The right mindset also increases your potential. So kind of the mindset that that John has on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. So I love this. So he said,
Tell the cup of water story, or no, the Diet Coke story.
yeah, I want to tell the other one about the phone number. That's my favorite one.
That's my favorite one too. But so I'll
All
tell
right,
I'll tell the water
okay.
one.
No, I'll tell it. I'll
Okay.
tell it. That's fine because I like it. Okay, so
It's
so
you
he-
though, because I can see the guy at the counter being like,
Oh,
"No,
yeah.
you can't have that car." Oh,
yeah. Oh,
yes,
yes.
yes, I can't give you that car. Oh, yes, you can.
Oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. So John was in a restaurant and he asked for a Diet Coke. So the girl at the counter is like looking all over and she's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, we don't have Diet Coke here. And so I can't do that." And he said, "Oh, okay, well, that's fine. Just give me a cup and put some ice in it, and I'll go down here to the store and get myself a Diet Coke." And so she's looking around and now she's got a real problem because she cannot find the button. By the way, I've been in this situation before. Can't
Well,
find the
being a
button.
manager at Taco Bell, I mean, you
I'm
face all
sorry.
kinds of challenges like this.
I was in the management trainee program. Let's not overstep. All right. So anyway, so she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do that." And he said, she said, "I'm not going to be able to get you that cup of water." And he goes, "Oh, oh, oh, yes, I'm sure." And so then the girl looked right at him and he said, "Yeah, you can just get."
Yes, you can.
"Yes, you can." And the girl said, "Oh, yes, I can." And so she turned around and went over and got him the cup of ice and the cup of water. And he said, so that made such a big impact on him that from that point on, he said, "I'm going to be that type of person. I am going to have that yes, you can mindset," which I absolutely loved, which
Yeah.
I have absolutely have that too, by the way.
So tell the phone number story.
All right, I'll tell the phone number story because I love it. Okay, so he had, I think it's the girl that's been his secretary for 32 years. So when she very first started working there back in 1981, I think he said, he said, he rang her up and said, "Hey, listen, I need you to get me this phone number." And so like 5 minutes later, she came in and said, "Cannot find it. We can't get it. I can't get it for you. I'm so sorry." And he said, "Okay, well, why don't you just come right in here and sit down beside me? And if you can't find it, you can sit here and watch me while I find it. So you can watch me while I find it." So he said it took him 45 minutes and he wrote down the number. He got the number, he wrote it down. It took him 45 minutes, not 5. So I was thinking, I think she gave up a little early on that. But anyway, so then he handed her the phone number and he said, "Okay, now go out." And so then she went out and then he called her back up and said, "Hi, can you please bring me the phone number for this?" And she said, "Yes." And she got up and walked back in and gave it to him. And she said, "John, that completely changed my life that day." And so she also, which I thought was fantastic, because what he's saying is that he showed her, because I thought, how would I do it? And how many times have I done, "Oh, okay, no problem, I'll do it." Not showed somebody else how to do it or how I was going to do it. But instead of training a person, I would just do it because I was frustrated. And I'd say something like, "Well, if you want to get anything done right here, you have to do it yourself." Right? Instead of training that person or having them come in there, to do that or to show them how to do it. Right? And so I love that because now the person that works with him, anyway, as forever, is starting to see and starting to have the same mindset that he does, which what a blessing that is. So yeah, so I love that.
So I've been following John Maxwell for 20 years and he's told that story for 20 years at every single event I've ever gone to. But 45 minutes in his life, he spent with this one woman. And there's actually an interview with her on a podcast where she goes into the story herself and says how it changed her entire life. And I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of people that stories changed their life. And it's just John has a mindset that whatever it takes. That's it, Cheryl, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Because one of the ending exercises to all of this is you have to come up with your own mindset statement. And one that we like, I love, Cheryl likes, is It's All Figure Outable. It's something that's made me feel good inside all the time. When I first heard that, I'm like, wow, that's impactful, because no matter what comes into my life, listen, we'll figure it out. And having that attitude is fantastic. But whatever it takes is a better mindset, because whatever it takes to get that phone number, John was willing to do. He had a call and he just got on the phone and he just started dialing people and asking questions like, well, who would know that person's phone number? And, you know, that person didn't know, but they're like, hey, you should call so-and-so. I bet they would know the number, or have an idea of someone that would know it. And he just kept on going on and on and on and on for 45 minutes, making all these calls. Finally, someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone led him to that person and got that phone number for him. So it's such a great story, and we got to really embrace that in our lives. And then to end it all up, Cheryl, you talked about sewing.
I loved it.
That mindset of sewing.
Yeah, he's so awesome. So, because we all know, right, that we have to sow before we can reap. But to have John explain how he thinks is a little bit differently. He said, I never even think about reaping. I only sow. Every single day, I sow and I sow and I sow and I sow. And then I love that he says, oh, don't get me wrong. I massively reap, but I have never thought about that. Right. And I just love that. So he never thinks about any of that, but he sows every day. That's his mindset. I'm a sower. I'm a sower. I sow the seeds. I sow the seeds. I sow the seeds. And then if you sow seeds like that, this is my thoughts. If you sow seeds like that, it's a law. You have to reap. You reap what you sow. That is the law. But I love that that's the way he looks at it.
Yeah. And Cheryl, I know we've been working with people for 25 years each. And, you know, it's just so hard because we see in people that they come to us saying, this isn't working out. This isn't, I'm not making the money I thought I was going to make here. You know, this coaching program doesn't work. So they're looking at the reaping. And then we ask, well, what have you sowed? Have you planted a seed yet?
Right.
Have you done a health evaluation with anybody yet? Well, no, I haven't. You got to plant seeds. Okay. When we say share this 2-minute video, we don't mean just like send it to like your 2 closest friends. We're talking about hitting millions of people. You know, we want to get it out there, where millions and millions of people are seeing it. So it's whatever, that, and I love that whatever it takes mindset. I think that's a great song I listen to every day called Whatever It Takes also. So it's a great mindset. And so we love to hear your mindset. So if you could type in the chat, what is your favorite saying? And Becca had typed in a couple in there, yes, you can. There's always an answer. It's all figure outable, whatever it takes. Or one that you have, that one that you say to yourself a lot, that mindset has gotten me through the tough times and gotten me to become successful in things. So I believe Caroline wrote, you get out of it what you put into it. Yep. Nothing is impossible. That's awesome, Amy. I got this. That's super good. I want to write that one down. I got this.
Get her done.
I can do all things. That's awesome. I go until. That's super good, Daniel.
Yep.
Write that one down too. I can do hard things. I just love when Alicia says that to Sam, boy.
I know, my little nephew that's 6.
Makes me smile from ear to ear.
My sister says it to him all the time. That's like one of the big things since he was 3.
Like 100 times a day.
Yeah.
Well, Mom, that's hard. Well, we do hard things.
We can do hard things. Yep.
So good. All right. You know, we went over time here today. Cheryl and I are very good at talking, as you all witnessed. But if anybody has a comment that they want to come on real fast and just, you know, like, hey, just want to add this one little piece of value to the class today, we'd love to hear from you. So if anybody wants to, we'll stick around for a few minutes and take a comment or two here. If anyone has one that they got out of Mindset Matters.
There's Esther. Yes. Good day, Esther, my friend.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Paul. Hey, Becca. Caroline. I just want to say that I thought that Keto 90 was impossible. I remember I first started back in January. I lost 8 pounds in like 5 days. And I think I took it for granted. But I know I may not have all the shakes and all of the cheese, all of those things, but I can start with what I have. I made a chicken salad today. I made some steak strips and I ate at 11 o'clock, 1:30, just ate now at 4 o'clock. I'm going to do Keto 90 all the way because I know what results it can have. And that's what I'm going to brand that with myself. Keto 90. I can do it. I
So
got
awesome.
this.
So what was I'm sorry, what was the first thing you said? I wish I wrote that down. I can't do this, or what was the saying you had? When you first started Keto 90, you said this is impossible. Or you said-
I said this is impossible.
Yeah.
I couldn't, it was too restrictive. How can
Yeah.
somebody eat 11 o'clock, 1:30? That's not even my work schedule. But you know
Right.
what?
Right.
It works out because now I change my lunchtime for 1 hour and I walk 45 minutes at lunch every day.
Boom.
And things are changing and I'm fitting into clothes that I couldn't fit into in a year. So I thank God.
And what changed?
What changed? It was people around me in the 75 hard that I'm doing with a team of people that Becca invited me to. And some of them saying, oh, I'm going keto.
That helps, but there's people around, a lot of people.
Well, I realized that, you know, I can't really make an impact on people's lives as effective as if I have some
changed?
system.
What changed?
Mindset.
Your
Whose?
mindset. You changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Whose
Yeah.
mindset?
Oh,
Yeah.
mine?
Yeah. That's my point is mindset matters.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Great
Cheryl
job at
Paul.
changing your mindset. That's awesome.
Thank you for the program. God
But
bless you
you're
all.
absolutely correct in saying, boy, you can be in a supportive group like the Institute of Holistic Health or Elevate Your Health or 75 Hard. All these things are going to act as supports to that. But ultimately, it's got to be your mindset that when the rubber meets the road, because you got to go out there and do that.
I saw the picture of one woman in the Keto 90 Kickstart group. She had a child and I think she lost, I don't know how many pounds. She was toned. I was like, I don't even have a child yet and I'm so flabby. So I was like, you know, I can do this. If she can do it, I can do this. I'm going all in. So I put in there last night at whatever 1 a.m. I said, I'm all in and I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Excellent.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Esther. That's so fantastic. Okay, Hattie. I think you're unmuted, Hattie. Hi. Okay, now she's muted again.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Thank you. This was absolutely a gigantically blessed call for me. And you know, I'm on this, I'm on a detox right now. And it only goes for 10 days. But when I got to this 10th day, I was like, you know what, I need to stay on it some more. So I'm committed to doing it for 21 days. My mind began to work with me like big time. It's like I went into the refrigerator today. It's like I wanted everything up in there. And it was so tough. And then I had to say, yo, sis, you in control of this. And I just jumped up and I just started screaming, I got this. I control my body. I control my body. I control my mind. Woo. And you're talking about, I've been at peace all day. So I can do this thing now because I'm in control of me, my body.
Yeah. I am the voice. I love, you know, that's really what you said is I'm the voice, not this this mind talking to you, you're in control, not your mind.
Yes. Thank you.
That is a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, awesome. I think this was we figured out. All of you come every single Monday for months on end to Mindset Monday. So I think we can all agree that mindset matters. I think we've beaten that horse and established that is absolutely true. So great job, everyone. Mindset does matter. We're going to talk about mindset matters. It's so important because we're going to talk about it again next week on part 2 of Mindset Matters. So if anybody's not done this John Maxwell program, I mean, I don't know what the exact cost was or is now for a couple $100 or something. But I mean, every time I listen to one, Cheryl, I don't know how you feel, but I'm like, I got to send John another $200 because it's just every single class is just gold.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
so fantastic. But Paul, I have to end with a little quote that I found that I love.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay. And then first, let me say this. Don't forget about tonight, ladies. So the Find a Fabulous, we have Dr. Laura again, and then we're going to answer any business questions or health questions that you might have. You can send those to me, Cheryl@CherylMorley.com. Okay, that's 7:00 Eastern tonight, and invite friends if you would like. So here is my quote that I love. To change the way you feel, change the way you think. And I absolutely love that because I think as women, a lot of times we feel a lot, men too, but I mean, I think that I always think about the way that I feel. And I love that I know that it's that simple to change the way you feel, change the way you think. And I love that. And I thought this was an awesome call. I love to be with
is
you
that a
guys.
Dwayne Dyer quote or who is that?
I don't even know. It didn't even say.
I think it is.
Is it? Well, it sounds like him and he's
Sounds like him, yeah.
fantastic too.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, let's unmute the lines and have everyone say goodbye. Super job, everyone. Keep your mindset positive, and we have a
I'm
wonderful
sorry,
weekend.
I'm at the house.
We'll see you
Maybe
on
we'll-
Mindset Monday.
Thank
Mindset
you.
Matters.
She's got what she needs.
Thank you.
Becca, love you
Thank
guys. Have a blessed day.
Great
Have a
always.
dinner.
Take care.
Thank you.
Really?
Have a great
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
God bless
Great
you
one,
all.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.